Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Stevie.
And I'm JayJay.
And this is Chismosas y Mimosas. I taste the vodka. I don't drink. Today I do. So JayJay, what type of mimosa are we drinking today?
Well, it's not really a mimosa. I mean, we could throw some champagne in it and call it a fucking mimosa. But, so basically, this is a lurid lemonade. So it's vodka and lemonade. And then to give it this beautiful black color, we added activated charcoal. Which was a first for me because I didn't even know they had that.
You guys know I don't drink liquor. But we did want to change it up since we were doing a whole Halloween theme. I said Halloween, not boobs. Anyways, guys, so we're going to get ready for today's topic, which we're talking about paranormal experiences. And we'll be speaking with the guest who actually is sensitive.
She's, what does she call herself?
You wouldn't say a medium, right?
Not a medium. She said, what did she call her? She called herself something. So basically, she can see spirits, or she can sense. So this is Des, who's going to be talking to us about paranormal experiences.
Yes. Ooh. Hey everyone. So yeah, it's I don't really have a title. Like there's no. Yeah, it's not like I advertise this. I don't like call people to be like, hey, so you want me to read you and your family and all the drama?
So it's not like palm reading or psychic.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. I can't tell you. Like I could have predicted that accident on the 10 had I been a psychic. Look it. It's more like. So let me take you back to when it started. I was really young, and my family would travel probably like 7 or 8. Mm-hmm. I've been fortunate enough to see Chichen Itza several times, the big pyramid in Merida, and I was able to climb that pyramid at least 3 times before they closed it. Yes, very fortunate. And so we're sitting at the top of the pyramid, and I'm looking out in the direction of where there's this large hole in the ground full of water that's called the cenote, and that's where they used to sacrifice people. And my uncle had told me this story about the sacrifices that they used to make of women, especially young women, and
like virgin sacrifices.
Similar, yeah. And so I'm sitting at the top of that, and my grandma comes over and she's next to me, and she said, I don't remember this, but she says that she looks at me and that I'm crying, and she asked me why I was crying, and I told her because I could feel the pain of all of the souls that were sitting at the bottom of that cenote. And she looked at me like I was fucking crazy. She was like, okay, mija, let's go. She was like, it's time to go. So, and then we go into the ancient city where there's this like thing that you gaze at the stars. What is that called? The observatory. Yes, thank you, Stevie. And there was a hole in the ceiling of this dome, and they find me sitting in the middle of this like dome structure, and this time it was my cousin, and this I do remember. I remember my cousin and I interacting, and he comes over and he sits down next to me, and he says that I'm just like staring, and he looks at me and he goes, what do you see? And I looked at him and I was like, I just see a lot of pain. And then he proceeds to tell me the story of how our people were like manslaughtered and like taken from their villages and all these horrible things that were happening to them. And so after that I was like, well, this is creepy. This is really creepy. And my tia Cheloncita, who is no longer with us, one day she stopped me before we went to the zoo and she told me that I was really special. And I was like, duh, like I know this, right? She was like, I was 10. And I was like, Tia, I don't know what you're talking about. And she goes, yes, you do. And I was like, okay, confirmed. So that was when I started to recognize that something was different. Like I started to see relatives that had passed that I had only seen in pictures. Mm-hmm. And like they look like you, like you're chilling, but they're slightly transparent. Sometimes I only see a color. Like
an aura?
Yeah, like for my tia Chelon, I always see yellow. And so when she passed, we weren't there because in Mexico, everything happens like this. She passed one night, the next night they like cremated her. It was really quick. But I knew that she had passed. because I could see like a yellow shadow that was really close to my grandma for like 2 or 3 weeks. And I knew it was her. Sometimes I will hear them, but I don't see them.
No, that would freak me out.
It is pretty freaking scary. Like, I'm not gonna...
That is like, hearing something you can't see, I think, is more terrifying than...
Are all of your experience so far, they've all been good? Like with family?
No.
Or have you had like malevolent spirits?
No. Oh, I've had 2. When I was volunteering at church, look, y'all, your girl thought she was gonna be a nun for a minute.
You really? You
I did. I love how Jess is laughing.
Because people who know Des are like, this bitch was trying to be a nun.
So we were on retreat, and there was a student that not a lot of folks wanted to pray over. Well, yeah, she was having a really hard time, first of all, in the group itself. And a lot of folks just kind of avoided her. She was a little rude at times. And my youth leader comes over and she's like, hey, Des, like, everyone's having a really hard time praying over her. Would you mind? And I was like, nah, I got this. So I walk over, I get close to her. She turns around. She looks at me and she's like, don't touch me. I was like, all right, girl, I ain't gonna touch you then. That's cool. I wasn't gonna touch you anyways. So she turns back around.
I'd be like,
yeah, so.
I'd be like, don't do what?
You don't want me to what? Anyway, I go and pray over her. And I start to hear howling outside. So we're in the middle of Hemet. So I'm like, this could easily be an animal. So I go over to my leader and I'm like, hey, just want to let you know, like, I'm starting to hear some things and they're making me really uncomfortable. And she's like, oh, Des, probably just the wind. And I was like, you're right. And one of my girls looks at me and she goes, Des, why? She's like, why do I hear laughing? And I was like, fuck.
Like nobody was laughing? You guys
No,
were having fun?
we're in the middle of mass.
Okay.
Like church. Like, we're going to church. Like,
So
mass.
you guys can't talk and have
No,
faith?
it wasn't like, it wasn't anyone
I'm
in
not
the
trying
room.
to pick. I'm sorry.
No, that's
I'm sorry.
No, it is not fun whatsoever.
Surprisingly,
All we do-
I'm the one behaving.
I'm sorry. I'm like, what? Like, you already feel
in the,
it?
yes, because I was nauseous. I was sweating. I didn't have a fever.
So it makes you like physically sick.
Yes, it makes me physically very. But this was my first time ever feeling it. I need to go to bed. She's like, okay, go. I wake up what feels like forever later, and I can't move. And I feel like I'm physically screaming her name, and nothing is happening. And so eventually I'm like,
Yes,
fuck
just-
this. So I don't know how, I roll myself out of that fucking bed and I book it. You've never seen this fat girl run so fast in her life. I book it down that hallway, and as soon as I get to where all of the other youth leaders are sleeping, literally, y'all, like, I cannot make this shit up, my body was thrown up against the wall.
Did anybody else see that happen, or they just heard
No,
it?
they heard it, and then one of the leaders woke up and saw me on the floor.
Oh, okay.
So at that point, I'm shivering, like I feel like I'm gonna throw up, and they lay me down and I pass out. I don't remember, I just hear a bunch of like humming around me.
So you kind of like black out during these
Yeah.
experiences?
So student comes in, sits down next to me. She takes my hands, she looks at me dead in the eye, and she's like, I don't know what you did or what you said, but I haven't felt this light in years.
The one who you were praying over?
The one who I was praying over that nobody wanted to talk to. And she's crying. And I gave her a hug, and I told her, I was like, I love you, I'm here for you. She leaves the room. I look at Father, and he goes, whatever you're thinking happened. So the way that I see spirit is like, it's displaced. Especially if it's like, if I see something and I expose it to the person that I'm with, because they know that, like, Nessie calls me a brujaha. If they know that, like, I'm a brujaha, I'll tell them, like, hey, yo, this is what I'm feeling. Like, is this person? And 9 times out of 10, they're like, oh yeah, I had so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh my God, that's fucking crazy. If they don't know who it is, then I'm like, well, don't worry. Like, it's not a threatening energy. Like, it's just chilling. I think that it's just spirit that, like, doesn't know where to go.
Is it anything like the Sixth Sense when you're looking for your help?
No. Okay.
Like Ghost Whisperer.
I'm always going to refer to a movie, just FYI, because it's going to be like,
Yeah.
But I actually know that movie. I saw that one. That's only happened in 2 occasions.
Okay.
And they were both very recent, like in the last 3 years of my life. And that was when I started to kind of decide that I was going to start closing it off. Because that's not who I'm trying to be. Like,
but what if it's like your destiny?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Every once in a good while, spirit will scare the shit out of me. Because I'll walk into a room and be like, oh my god, I wasn't expecting you there, hi. And
so what are the last ones that like needed your help? What was it?
So the only 2 times that's ever happened have been with people that I have known. One of them was with an old coworker of mine. Her relative had an out-of-body experience. They had not yet passed. But they needed to give her a message that they could not relay themselves.
We wanted to actually take Des to my mom's house. But my mom just had surgery. She's only been home for like a day, so...
Oh gosh, poor mama.
Yeah, well...
Stranger shows up, be like, you've got a ghost over there, and a ghost over there, and a ghost right there.
My mom would be like, pull out the holy water, we gotta do it all over again. God, I remember as a young teenager, things started happening in the house.
Okay.
And it was like a presence was in the house. And it first happened to my sister. She said she was sleeping and she, like a sleep paralysis kind of thing, but when she opened her eyes, she had like a mass on top of her holding her down.
Ay, Dios mío.
And you know, that was kind of like the start to a lot of things. So everybody who goes over the house is freaked out by the hallway. It's a fucking long ass hallway.
I mean, I lived there. I never really got freaked out. I mean, I grew up also with a ghost in my house. So when I moved in with you, it was like, you told me about it. I was like, no big deal.
She's not big fucking one.
Right.
So the hallway has a tendency to make a lot of people uncomfortable. So I'm a type of person, like if I'm home and I'm using the restroom, I don't really give a shit to close the door. When you would be sitting on the toilet, you would always see a mass walking back and forth.
A mask?
Mass. Like a black mask.
We got it. I was like, mask just floating. I was like, get the fuck out.
No, us as kids, we called it the black shadow. That's what its name was. We called it a black shadow.
Shadow people.
Yeah.
So, you would be in the living room and you would always see something kind of poke its head in, like if it's watching you, and it was just like a presence. Stuff would happen, like my radio used to turn on by itself.
Yeah.
It was like really weird.
What song would play?
It would be the radio, or because it was a tape deck, you know.
Yep.
We even thought it might be like an alarm setting.
Yeah.
You know, like to wake you up, and it wasn't. So it was like this weird thing that would happen. People would come over and they hated being in the hallway. They hated it. So when I was a kid one time, I was going to the kitchen.
Yeah.
And right here, there's like a cupboard and a stove, and I was pulling out a box of cereal.
Okay.
And right here is where the stove is, and then right here is where the kitchen counter is and the sink. So I pulled out the box, and I went to move this way so I could get a bowl from the other counter, and I hit something. Like, I'm telling you, there is a large space between.
Yeah.
It's like a big open kitchen.
Yeah, so to me to be like, I didn't run into anything. Like, I know that house. We've lived there our whole lives. So I just hit something, and it was just like this, I wouldn't say like this dark black shadow, but it was a mass. And I just remember putting the box down and just stepping back.
Yeah.
And fucking booking it.
Yeah.
Down the hallway to my mom and being like, I saw it! I fucking ran into it! Like, freaking the fuck out. Now, if anybody's ever seen, I don't remember which one it is, but it's Paranormal Activity, and it's one where the little girl gets pulled by her hair. She's like about to run out of the room.
Fuck all that noise.
And she like hits something, and she's like looking at it, and she's stepping back, and then it grabs her by her hair.
That's probably the third one where it's when she was a little girl, her and her little sister.
I guess, yeah, that's the one. Okay, that fucking scene, when I saw them in the movies, I was like, I lived that! I fucking lived that! Except for the hair pulling part.
Because it's kind of like the same thing with mine when we grew up on that house in De La Fuente. There was definitely something in that house. Like, you can hear it. You remember that house in the living room, and how my uncle's room was like it was like a really big house, like, and my uncle's room, I remember, was like the room that had like the most activity. Because you could hear, like, we had like carpet
a lot.
but it was like you could hear like shuffling on the carpet, like, you know how that sounds. You could hear that. The kitchen, you can hear like cabinets opening. You can hear like my uncle's toilet. The toilet handle would wiggle. You know how like you could hear that? The toilet seat would fall. or
The
you would hear
was
like
being,
you would hear like music.
use it and then put the seat down. It's a good ghost.
You can hear like music. That's just like at the other house, whatever was there affected my uncle a lot, and I believe the things that happened to my uncle. But my grandma verifies this, that my uncle can move stuff with his mind.
Fuck all that noise. See,
but he can't do it a lot because when he does it, it drains him completely and he's dead for like a day.
I'm not that.
But my grandma says she's seen him do it because he's wanted to show it to someone that he could do it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But my uncle and my mom are plagued with like horrific nightmares. In that house, he's been attacked. He's been grabbed, where he's seen things come from under the bed and try to grab him and pull him out. Something jumped on the bed with him and held him down. And he's had dreams about a devil chasing him and telling him like it's your turn next, like wait till, like telling him like it's basically coming for him. And these are like, and he calls my grandma every time and tells my grandma about these dreams,
Okay, I haven't been to church in a while, but I might be there on Sunday. God.
I've heard, when I lived there, I heard things, like you get the creepies. I've seen something pop because like, do you remember, not when I had my blue room, but do you remember the room next to it that used to be my grandma's?
Too. No, I only remember the room that was when you first came in and it was on that side.
And I remember in that room, like you could see straight through it where my bed was, and I was like putting my sheets ready for bed, and I just happened to look and I saw something. It was either really tiny or it was on its hands and knees, but poking out from that little wall staring at me.
What the fuck?
And I was like, what? And I just laid down and I was like, oh my god,
Oh my god.
And then I remember one time I was in my uncle's room asleep, and it was just me and my grandma. My uncle would be out every night. My mom didn't live with us. And my grandma was in her room, which was all the way across, and I was in my uncle's room, which is all the way in the back. My back was kind of like towards the door.
Never.
And I remember I heard it open because it was like a creak, and then you could hear it like on the carpet, like that. Because it was like a heavy door, so you can hear it drag against the carpet.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, my grandma's coming to check on me, because remember I snuck out of the house and I got caught. So she would always come in and check on me. And so I'm pretending to be asleep. So I had my back turned. I didn't look. I heard it open, and I'm like pretending to be asleep. I could hear it walking towards me. I felt the presence in my back.
What the
And then
fuck?
I thought it was my grandma.
Yeah.
And then I felt something lean over me like this and like looking at me, like breathing on me. And I turned around like, what, grandma? And there was nothing there. And I was like, okay.
See, no.
Did anybody bring a smudge stick?
Fuck. I know, I'm like, oh my god, where's my palo santo? Yes, all of my spirit is kind. Like,
but it wasn't like, I thought it was my grandma, so I wasn't scared. And even when it was breathing over me, I was like, what the fuck? It felt like it was just checking on me. It felt like that kind of presence, like just checking on me.
Okay.
I wasn't like, and then it just freaked me out because when I was like, what? Because I thought it was my grandma, and there was nothing there.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could have sworn,
That's when I would have gotten up to run and find grandma. Yeah, no, I can't. See, the funny thing is even though like I feel it and I see it and I have interactions with spirit all the time, shit like that fucking scares me. Like I'm still the person who like
But you
cannot
never
have
had,
all the
like-
lights off. Because then I have to like run down my fucking hallway because I'm like, oh my god, it's dark, and I like book it down my hallway. I'm terrified of the dark time.
Your most evil experience is with the church. Should we take a moment of silence for that?
Look.
Okay, so we have talked about religion being something that falls into these categories.
Yeah.
So anybody who knows me knows that I'm not really religious. I like to find myself to be more spiritual. I had a very huge falling out with religion when I was younger. So I have a bit of like, I feel like you can't be a part of one without the other. And what I mean by that is I love watching paranormal shows. I love watching ghost hunters and I love watching ghost adventures and all that shit. I'm all about it because I'm like, I honestly believe that we as a human race, we carry an energy with us, and I do believe that when our soul, I don't even want to call it soul, when our body gives way and our energy departs, that maybe it has a lingering, maybe it does actually,
absolutely
get left behind, So
it's like the light and dark. It doesn't have to be like God and devil. It's just a light and a dark.
Exactly. So watching those types of programs, they always, they're like, come out, demon, and they're with like the crosses and the holy water.
Yeah.
And they're like, all the Jesus praying and all that stuff. And I always go, is it that, or is it the positive energy?
The faith.
that they're using with that.
Yeah.
So if that's what gives you positive energy, then go with it.
Go for it. Yeah.
You know, if it's Catholicism, Christianity, Buddhism, you know, whatever there is out there, if that's what gives you that positive energy,
that light
exactly,
that you need,
then if that's the force that is what's putting out against something that is of a negative nature, maybe that's just what it is.
Kind of along that same vein, Stevie, when I think of the 2 times that it's happened where I've encountered something that was really negative, I was always at that point in my life in a space where I felt a lot of joy. And I felt a lot of peace, and that's why I've attributed it to energy. Like when I recount that experience, I don't tell people like it was a demon and it was the devil and it was coming to get me, like, because I don't. That's not what I believe. Like, I honestly think it's about energy, and it's about that feeling that gets displaced after your human body leaves.
Right.
This earth.
So like if someone leaves this world in, let's say, like a horrific manner, and their energy is negative, and they're just, you know, that energy is just kind of displaced and wandering and floating about, and it's just finding people, and let's say there's negative energy there, it kind of connects to it because it's like, you're feeling what I'm feeling and whatnot,
and you're open and you're perceptive.
I can feed, I can build, and all that. So when a person then uses something within themselves, like a more positive energy, a more positive light, so saying like using holy water, or, you know, your
because
faith.
that they put their faith in that to work,
right?
So it's creating hope.
Exactly.
You know, hope in them, that, you know.
So you're actually putting that. So like when I watch stuff, because I feel like, how can I really be into like ghosts and spirits and like all this stuff, but then be like so like I don't believe in God, like, you know,
because you don't have to label it.
Yeah,
you could believe in a light. Like
that's kind of like how I was explaining. It's like how I see it is I don't think it necessarily has to do anything with like these symbols that are used behind it. I think it has to do with the power of what a person is pushing out with that.
Yes.
You know, so I mean, you can honestly, I think with everything that has been spoken about today, you can take it with, you know, a grain of salt. You can take
a massive grain of salt.
You can, however you believe. I mean, some of you could be actually sitting here watching and being like, this is all bullshit.
Right.
And, you know,
which is cool.
That's all on you.
Fine. That's what you need to keep going through your day.
It's my life. Do what you need to do.
And others, I mean, there might be some of you out there who actually have had like experiences along one of the lines that we have. If you have, leave a comment down below. Let us know what you've experienced.
Yes.
Do you believe in ghosts or paranormal, or even just like energy, you know, lingering?
Or if you don't want to call them ghosts, you believe in spirits.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like energy. Because ghost is a very like stigmatic word.
It is.
Because it's like, ooh, like you're thinking like something poltergeist on any movie that you saw, you know,
so we hope that you guys have enjoyed this episode with our guest Des. And like I said before, if you guys have had any experiences, or what are your beliefs or disbeliefs, put them down in the comments below. So thanks for coming on, Des. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for being so open.
I love it.
And any of you who try to talk shit about this,
no, I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm gonna send some people your way.
So don't forget, guys, to leave us a like,
subscribe,
and we'll see you guys next time on Chismosas y Mimosas.